This is producer JR, and you are watching the proud New York Jets fan show. Now give it up for my boy Nick.
Rodgers is a f***ing Jet. Let's go!
This for my special delivery. Spit like this, get my wrist all glittery.
Can't wait.
Get kicked, snakes get slithery. Lean in, show y'all the mean and the chivalry.
Let's make sure we
Rap
play like the
Buddha.
New York Jets.
Right jab like Zab Judah. Every member on my team is a shooter. Tight like a womb, no room for intruders. Spark, twist to the Philly.
Give it up.
Good humor. Don't be silly. It's baby. I got it all smothered.
Let's go
Like
eat a
makeup.
damn snack. What's up, boys and girls? Jets fans, tortured souls, whatever we want to call ourselves today. The circus doesn't stop. Tim Boyle goes from being the New York Jets starter for the last 2 games to now being cut. The Jets make changes at QB, and Aaron Rodgers comments. We're going to go over all of it. Let's start with Tim Boyle getting cut. There was some news yesterday. There was some drama. There were some comments that got leaked to the press, allegedly. Now, all of a sudden, Tim Boyle gets cut today. Interesting, right? It's confusing. It's drama that always seems to follow this goddamn team around. I'm glad they cut him. He was not worthy of being on an NFL roster. Nobody will sign him. He did not show that he deserves to be in the league. He would probably not even start in the XFL or USFL or Canada or NFL Europe or most flag football teams for 30 and over. I don't get it. What'd they do? They bring in Brett Rippon. Okay, that's a name a lot of people kicked around earlier in the season. Now you got Zach Wilson, you got Trevor Siemian, and you have Brett Rippon on roster with Aaron Rodgers' 21-day window open. Seems to be that you don't have an answer. It seems to me that it doesn't make sense. It seems to me too little, too late. It seems to me that this wasn't addressed in a fashion that could put out an NFL quarterback at a sooner date. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show today. I listened to that. I wanted to come on sooner, but I wanted to watch that entire interview before coming on with you guys. He seems frustrated, saying that they need to zip it up. Now, early in the Joe Douglas regime, a lot of us were saying that it was a zipped up organization. There weren't a lot of leaks. There wasn't a lot of drama coming out of New York. We were proud of that. Like, we didn't know what Joe was going to do in the draft. You find out a lot about people's characters in times of stress, in times of adversity, when things aren't going well. When someone's winning, everybody shuts up. Everyone zips their lip. Everybody plays the good soldier because you don't want to rock the boat. When the boat's rocky and panic ensues, that's when you find out what human beings are really about. If there's any positive that comes out of this season, and you guys know me, you know I'm going to look for a positive. You know I'm going to look for to find a positive with this team. If there's a positive we can take out of this season, it's that you get the right people on board for next season. And people that you thought might not be able to help us get to our goal, you get them out the door now. No sense in bringing down a good ship. I'd rather you fuck up on a bad ship and we get rid of you before the ship gets right. And that way we don't have to worry about this ever again. Let me say what's up. A couple people popped in early in the chat. Wild Wave, my dude, always here supporting, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Knobcraft, you haven't changed your YouTube profile photo in a week, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed in you. I expect better from you. You changed it during the goddamn show last Wednesday. So if you're going to use some bullshit, I'm busy, I'm working. I don't want to hear it. Get back to being the knob that I love, the knob that I crave. That's what she said. And what's up, man? Thanks for popping in. The way they've been running game, Rippon won't be ready to play until March. He's got to learn the plays. Right when XFL starts, Brett Rippon will be ready for the Rock. They can debut out there, and he could smell what he's cooking. They're looking to see who's willing to go out from. Agreed. There's some issues, man, and I'm kind of happy that it's being brought out now. You know, don't be fake, don't be phony. Be who you are. Be true to you at all times. And if you're gonna be selfish, and if you're gonna be someone who Tim Boyle, you want to play more, so you're gonna go try to throw out Zach Wilson under the bus. This is speculation. I don't like getting into that. My buddy Anthony is a Washington fan. Popping in. I bet he won't start in Madden. I don't even think he's got a Madden character. Remember when they used to have a player who had the generic, they didn't have an actual time, a person that they didn't spend time on creating their face, like the free agents in Madden. They didn't have the facial scan, so it was just like a generic, like computerized, like white guy, and like you'd move him around. That's Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle is, what is this? Breaking news. Logan Ryan. Oh, nothing big, nothing jet related. So Saleh GD is confirmed to be back next season. I believe so. I believe that that's what it was the entire time. You know, we never gave Robert Saleh an NFL quarterback. I think it's wrong to get rid of him without giving it a shot with Aaron. And let's break down the logistics of that, okay? Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. Aaron Rodgers wants to run the system that he's run. So that limits who you can bring in as an offensive coordinator. That's why we have Hackett. That was one of the boxes that needed to be checked in order to acquire Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. We had to get the guy who runs the system, because at 39 years old, you don't want to learn an entirely new system. You don't want to have to start from day one. You want to implement your system and get everyone on the page with you, because that's easier to acclimate the weapons than for you to learn it and then try to teach it at the same time. So that had to be done, right? Now, Aaron Rodgers goes down game one. Not even game. First drive, Aaron Rodgers goes down. So now we're looking at it from this perspective. We're not good. Offensively, we can't do anything. There's been a massive amount of injuries to the line. Quarterbacks can't step up and do anything. This system wasn't built for them. None of these guys were supposed to play. So what do you do now? What do? You fire a coach, and then you fire the coach, and then whoever's getting hired is told, well, you have to keep Hackett as your offensive coordinator. What's the point of making the firing? Wait one more year. Maybe two with Rodgers, right? Maybe he's hell-bent on playing 2 more years. So the answer to me, and you might not agree with it, but it makes most sense logistically and to execute the plan. You keep Aaron Rodgers, you keep Robert Saleh, you keep Joe Douglas, and if you're Woody Johnson and Christopher Johnson, you say flat out, got to make the playoffs. There's a playoff mandate right now. 2024 has a playoff mandate. If not, we're going to clean house. And if that means Aaron Rodgers has to retire or go somewhere else because we won't have the system that he wants, okay. But I can't go without playoffs any longer. Whether it's finding a GM who has a successful track record of drafting quarterbacks, finding talent, finding a coach who has a good track record with developing young talent at quarterback, got to find a way. You got to find a way. You got to find an answer. I'm tired of first-time offensive coordinators. Go get a guy who's got a pedigree. Go get a guy who has a track record of success doing what we need done. We need a quarterback developed. Stop rolling the dice on failure retreads like an Adam Gase. Stop bringing in a guy like a Todd Bowles who has no say on an offense. Robert Saleh had no say on an offense. Brought in his best friend's brother to give him a shot. That didn't work out. You could say it didn't work out because of Zach. and Zach not being an NFL quality quarterback. But you got to change up the algorithm if the algorithm is a disaster. So as much as I love Joe Douglas and as much as I think he's done a fantastic job of finding a Tony Adams, a Quincy Williams, trading up for Jermaine Johnson, sticking with Huff, Michael Carter being drafted, signing DJ Reed. He's made a lot of nice moves. JFM coming in. You got to figure out how to do it on offense. You got to find a guy who fits your scheme and can't pay $18 million a year for someone like Tomlinson at guard. You got to be able to find a guy. You got to be able to find a guy on a practice squad. You got to be able to find a guy in free agency who you can sign for a 3-year, $15 million deal, and he just plays average to above average. Someone that nobody saw coming. You can't, Dwayne Brown's only here because Becton got hurt. Becton's healthy, but Becton's in the last year of his deal. Brown's in the last year of a deal. Tomlinson can be cut for minimal after June 1st next year. I don't know if you could say Warren's a long-term answer. I don't think you could say Max Mitchell deserves to start. I don't think anybody on this team besides Tippmann at center is going to be here in 24 months from now. There's no guarantee Elijah Vera Tucker. Listen, we've all killed Becton for 2 season-ending injuries. Same things happened with Vera Tucker. Everybody who had the pitchforks out for Becton called him a bust because he had some unfortunate luck with his knee. You better have those damn pitchforks out for Elijah Vera Tucker, guys. He's ended 2 seasons with 2 different body parts snapping. So it's just been an unfortunate streak of bad luck with the line. Can you blame Joe Douglas for that? No, because everyone had Vera Tucker there. Everyone had Becton there. It's just the bad luck. Let me say what's up. Hi, Crotchface. How are you? No more Juggaloon? You always come in with Juggaloon. I think you've been hacked. Is this like a red flag, Mark? It's a red flag? You're in trouble? You're in danger? Chris Rogers did hint that they'll run it back. Guess that's why I wanted their money early. Maybe they want the money early because they got to go give they're going to make a big splash. Maybe they're going to go for an Adams. Maybe they're going to go big and give Ridley or T. Higgins big money. I don't know. If you want this money early and you're going to put the fans through this at the holiday season when they usually don't have to pay until February, March, or April, and you're going to make it where they're paying now, you better do something with that money. You better do something with that money. Whether you got to extend Rodgers again and give him more money up front to open up cap room, you better. You better do something big. You can't take this money just to take it. You have to get it right back out the door. Launder it, cleanse it, get it right back out to somebody else. The Johnsons might not know anything, but they're not stupid when it comes to money and reading the situation. Yeah, and when you go all in with your guy, which was Rodgers, my belief, as you guys all know, has been this. We're not giving up more future assets for this team. This team was built for Rodgers. We're not going to take from the future to tread water now. You'd rather sink this season, get the good draft pick. The benefit of Rodgers getting hurt early was what? We keep our number 1 draft pick, which right now is sitting at number 6. Anthony, would you sign Winston as a backup? There's a lot of guys I'd sign as a backup. I do believe Zach is done here. I do believe that they move on. I think it's right for everybody. I think it's best for Zach. I think it's best for the organization. I think it's best for the media and the fan base. Aaron Rodgers said something today on the Pat McAfee show that I absolutely loved and wanted to find a way to get into this show. And it's, They were talking about Jordan Love, and they made a comment about, it's his first year playing. Why are we so quick to want to crown or chastise a player? Let the kid play, especially in this market. Jeremy Lin is the perfect example of New York. We want to crown the next guy immediately. How did that work out? I've had a stomach bug that lasted longer than Jeremy Lin's success in New York. I've had a cough that lasted longer than Jeremy Lin's success in New York. But New York media and fan base is so... Shane Spencer's another one. Guy had a good 3 weeks in September, hit a few grand slams. He's the next Babe Ruth. Where the fuck is Shane Spencer? He's a drunk at the River Road Inn bar in Piscataway and coaching Bridgewater, the last I heard. My buddy and his girlfriend run the bar and said he's in there 4 or 5 times a week. Guy's a disaster. Shane Spencer was the next great big thing. Stop crowning everybody. Let people develop. Let people learn. Not many people take the league over like Burrow and Herbert do, guys. There you go. He's okay. Who's Joe B? Joe Burrow? Who's Joe B? Indy Colt, I do not know. Joe Burrow. I'm lost. Give me some more info. Yeah. I was thinking, I did a short right before this, and I said, Aaron Rodgers and Brett, teammates again? Oh, I don't follow him. I think he's the worst New York Jet fan and the worst media member. He's the reason I stopped listening to WFAN as a station. I don't know what he shared. I don't know what he said. I know nothing about him. You guys will have to fill me in the chat, please. But I know nothing that Joe Benigno does except smoke entirely too many cigarettes and sound like one of Marge Simpson's sisters. I'm not a fan at all. I'm not a fan. If I ever saw him to his face, I would tell him he's a disgrace for New York Jets fans. Him and Greeny, I think, are the worst 2 Jets fans in the entire world. So I'm sorry, I'm not up to speed on this. You got to give me more info about it before I can speak on it, guys. Yeah, so Brett Rippon is a Jet. Get excited, boys. Go nuts. We got a quarter. Oh, my Lord. It's bad. It's bad. This year is not what we expected. This is not what we thought. This is not what we did shows about. This is not where we thought we would be. And I'm afraid for what's coming because I don't think whenever a team starts to crack, whenever there starts to be a chink in the armor, it's usually the beginning of more things to come. It's usually not, oh, that one little thing happened. Now everything else is going to be okay. No, it's usually like an iceberg starting to break apart, right? You see a little bit of snow falling, then a little more, then a little more, then a little more, and boom, then the whole thing collapses. And I'm afraid that's what we're going to see with the New York Jets this season. I do. And you guys know me. I'm positive about everything. I'm having a hard time finding things to be positive about with this team. You took Zach out, which I was against. I didn't say Zach was great, but I said Zach was our best chance of winning with the roster as is. You bench him. You make it look like he's the reason things are wrong. And now he's got flaws. He's got deficiencies. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that he's Steve Young coming in for Joe Montana. It's not the truth. But the truth was he was the best chance we had with the current roster we had. And now they're going to sit there, go to Boyle, see Boyle week 1, and say, we're going to run it back. In a game with the Falcons that you should have won, you could have won, and you didn't win. Now you're going to try to go back to Zach? I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. I don't. I think you mean Finns fan, Moya. Yeah, you're a Finns fan from the other day. Thanks for watching, bro. We all know A-Rod has been dropped to double drama queen. Do you think he is the source about Zach Wilson not wanting to play? I haven't liked A-Rod for like a decade. No, I don't. I think Rodgers has had a really good influence on Zach on the microphone as a person. All right, Jets moves. Signed Brett Rippon to the active roster and released Tim Boyle. Signed Xavier Newman to the practice squad and placed Denzel Smart on practice squad IR. So those are the official moves for the Jets today. But I think Rodgers, I think, got a bad rap with the media. He still gets it. You know, I love him on the Pat McAfee show because you see the real guy. He doesn't have people interpreting his words. He says it as is. So I'm a really, really big fan. Oh, the thing Browns have a second for more. Elijah Moore ran himself out of town here, though, Raul. When you attack a coach like that, you should have been cut immediately. But good thing that the Jets held on to him. They got the 2. And then they used that to get Rodgers. So you trade Elijah Moore for Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat. It's basically what we did. Yeah, and we keep our first. So it's tough, man. It's tough being a content creator and trying to think about like positive things to talk about. You know, we all thought we'd be lining up for playoff tickets and looking at playoff positioning and home field game or home field advantage. Here we are. You know, Trevor Lawrence had an injury. The Chiefs don't look like themselves. Cincinnati had their injury. Pittsburgh just lost their quarterback. That might be an upgrade for that offense, though, with Trubisky coming in over Pickett. Cleveland's quarterbacks are down. The Ravens don't look like a team that can dominate week in and week out. They have some issues. Even games they win, they struggle. The AFC is wide open. The Bills are a 500 team. You know, the Dolphins are beatable. It was a great year to be that AFC team that could go from, you know, worst to top. Yeah, we did fleece the Browns, getting a 2 for Elijah Moore. Considering the way things were going here, that's a miracle at this point, right? Pittsburgh needs to bring back Duck Hodges. It's a nice reference. I love your references, Raul. You are up my alley with making wild, obscure references that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. And that is something that I do all the time in text or on post. I like you, Raul. Appreciate you following the channel, man. You've been a nice addition to the chat. You make me smile a lot with the comments that you come up with, man. Harlan, my man, is here. No, Rippon's not an upgrade. Rippon's not an upgrade. Rippon's just another body to get in the building. You know, it's somebody a lot of people, not me personally, a lot of people dropped that name previously. Excuse me. Yeah. You can't get excited about Brett Rippon. You can't. You can't. There's not much to get excited about here, guys. There's not. I haven't even looked yet. I don't know the state of Stroud if he's playing Sunday. I think I made plans for the Jet Dolphin game that day to leave at like halftime. Me and the kids, my ex, her boyfriend, the lady I'm seeing now, her kids. I think we're all going to take the train up and go see the tree that day. We were going to go on Saturday, but my son has a birthday party for one of his good friends. So the time just doesn't work. So I was like, all right, we can do it Sunday. It's going to be 20-3 at halftime if we get the 3. I'm like, it's okay. We don't have to miss this. You know, I was the one that wanted to do it. I wanted to take everyone now that I can like walk and move again. So, you know, it's bad when I'm making plans. But I will say this. The fact that we lasted to December 17th before I made plans during the Jet game was pretty cool. There's times where I've done it for pumpkin picking or taking the kids for that in October. So the fact that we lasted this long before I did it was all right. Glad I found the channel and guys make it fun. Yeah, man. I am too, man. Appreciate you. Ripken did beat the Jet. He did. He did. Was it with the Rams? Was he with the Rams? I think he was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Matthias, one of the GOATs, one of the longtime Jets fans. If you're on Facebook, check out Greenhouse Football. The Greenhouse Football. That's Matthias's page. He does a great job there, sharing everyone's content, getting all the links and articles up every day. Puts it all on one page for you. He does a really good job with that. So show him some support. He's a good guy. Supported me for a long time, so I got to kick it back to him. We have hit new lows with what has gone on this year. That in itself is amazing. That's a good point. Every time you think they can't find another low, we find another low. It's oh, thank you, Harlan. He's been the Broncos. Rippin was with the Broncos. I don't know, man. I don't think you ever see him play. If anything, the last game, I don't know. I'm out of answers, guys. I'm out of answers. I wish I had answers. I don't. But like Matthias was saying, something new always pops up. Something new always comes out of the blue. Something new happens that like no team has ever done before. You know, the Hail Mary interception return. That shit don't happen on the regular. Like, why is it always happening here? I don't get it. I don't get it. Looking ahead to this game, unfortunately, Tank Dell, the wide receiver, who's really, really exploded this year, broke his fibula. He'll be out. Stroud, I'm not sure if he's playing yet. I was looking forward to seeing this kid play. I've seen highlights. He's on one of my fantasy teams. I picked him up early on. So we'll see. Oh, here we go. Here's an idea. Talk about the draft and tankathon. The tank is on. It's on the streets. The pressure's high to find a guy that can help us score. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. There you go. Little freestyle. So we'll talk into it. 10-star. Welcome back. The voice of reason. I've been called a lot of things in my life, man, but thank you. That's one of the nicest things anyone's ever said about me. Appreciate you popping in. I'll catch up with the comments, and then we'll talk some draft for the last few minutes because Jets are having a bad season this year. Joe Douglas on the hot seat. Douglas has upgraded the Jet talent and got out of bad contracts. He has. And remember, the first year and a half was him cleaning up the cap, was him doing a teardown, stripping it down to no dead money, which was amazing considering where we were year in and year out with dead money. I don't want to say, I mean, I guess, yeah. I think this year you have to nail this draft. You have to execute this draft. You have to find multiple guys, an interior lineman, another wide receiver, and a tackle who can come in and start immediately and be above average players. That's a hot seat. You got to get this team to the playoffs next year. You have to. If you don't, this team does not make the playoffs next year, everyone's out. Everyone's out. You don't keep running it back if it's not successful. There was a playoff mandate this year, in my opinion, but when Rodgers got hurt, that wiped the slate clean. There we go. Zach, you score a touchdown, your mom will let you sleep with her friends. That's what we got to do. There we go. That's the key to success. They just give you freshmen and how they get off their back so they can lose the rest of the games and get us the top 5 draft pick. Will you? You got to be in the top 5 if you want an impact player. You got Caleb Williams and Drake May, and then you got Marvin Harrison Jr., Fashanu, and Alt. You need an impact player. I don't think we take quarterback. I don't think we're in a position to take one of the 2 quarterbacks. However, if you are there and Marvin Harrison Jr., Fashanu, or Alt are available, and you pick somebody else, or you trade out of getting one of those players, I think the New York Jets will regret it. You will not find a bigger fan of trading back and acquiring more picks than this guy right here. But you cannot pass on Harrison, Fashanu, or Alt, in my opinion. You can't. Those are blue chip talents. Alt, to me, is another Joe Thomas. That's a guy you put in at left tackle. He's your left tackle for a decade until he decides to retire. You can't pass on them. You can't pass on Marvin Harrison Jr. and then trade back and go get somebody as Keon Coleman. I have no problem with Coleman or Neighbors or Rome Odunze from Washington. But that's if we're at 8, 9, 10, 11. You don't pass on that player and trade out. You take that elite player. Marvin Harrison Jr. together with Garrett Wilson opens up the offense, opens up the run game. Who are you going to double? With Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, who are you going to double? It takes the pressure off the offensive line. Wildwave, I saw your comment. I love Neighbors, but I'm not giving up on Harrison, trading out to then take him. That's the little caveat I'm throwing in there. If we're at 6, 7, 8, 9, I would love that kid. But if we finish at 3, 4, 5, I'm not passing on those guys to get other picks. I think the value of those players and how elite they will be is better than having a second-round draft pick and Neighbors. You know what? I was under the weather yesterday. I never even did my Monday mock. I did it, but I started it, but I never finished it. I took NyQuil last night. I slept for like 13 hours. I woke up today at like 11:30 with like a NyQuil hangover. I was groggy. I got a little chest thing going on. Tin Star, gotta say I'm still on board with Douglas and Salah, provided he's there with any issues between two men. Yeah, I agree. That's a really good take, Tin Star. I agree with that 100%. It's not about answers at this point. It's getting through the rest of the season, finding a way to make this team better. I'd say it can get worse, but I know better. Yeah, you can't say it can't get worse. What you say is, how are they going to make this worse? What next? It's like an awful drama on television. You're like, okay, what could possibly happen next? Billy, I agree. If it's Fashanu, Alt, or Harrison, those are the three. I can't see this regime if it's still Salah, or and Douglas still here. I can't see them drafting a quarterback prospect that they might not be here for. If you are in a win now, unless ownership says you're taking a quarterback. But do you want a guy taking a quarterback who might not be here to develop him? Like, I know Salah has said, I know Salah says it's our job to teach, it's our job to coach, it's our job to develop players, whether it's for now or for the next staff. That's our job as teachers. But I don't know, man. I have a really, really difficult time believing that. I have a really difficult time thinking they're going to draft a quarterback. An OT, DT, guard, or receiver, cornerback, take a QB in later round. Could get Tulsa QB in round 4. Wait longer and he'll be gone. I'm not up on the Tulsa quarterback yet. I haven't dived in yet on prospects. I'm close. I think I'm waiting until after Christmas. I think I'm going to give myself to after the Christmas, and then I'll start the dive on prospects. I'll probably start with the Jets' needs first. I'll do tackle. I'll do wide receiver. I'll do interior line. I'll start on the offensive side. And then come later January, February, March, we'll do all the other positions. And then closer to the draft, we'll rehash the needs. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it. Yeah, I know. No second round pick. Let's see what you guys got to say. The only way the season is anything to give a high draft pick out of it. Agreed. It would have been nice if Zach developed and then we known he could have been the long-time backup. I hate the way this played out for him because I'm a fan of Zach the person. I really am. And I thought sitting behind Rodgers for 2 years and playing in garbage time, or the last week of the season when we had a top spot clinched, would have been great for his development. And I feel that his development got stunted by all this year. Jets trade back to it. Yeah, you have to. If you end up at 6, you end up at 6, and those marquee guys are gone, I would love a trade. If somebody wants to trade up for Penix, Bo Nix, or one of the other players, I'm fine with getting out of there. If someone wants to trade up for the first defensive player, I'm fine with getting out of there. But if we're top 5 and one of those main guys are there, I can't see it. I can't be on board with that. I think the value of that player is too good to pass up. And I know we need it too. And every single year, I say do it. Who knows? The Jets will win a game. They'll beat Washington. They'll beat New England. And then we'll have the 9th pick. And then we'll be in a position where we have to take the player there. Because no one's really going to trade up that far. Deshaun Watson. Nice. See? Deshaun Watson. That's well done. So, yeah. Yeah. He had to start using his own shoulder. And that was the problem. He had to start using his own hand to get himself off. Agreed, Billy. Agreed. That's right. That's where we are as Jets fans. I don't blame Douglas for that. I don't blame him. I just think it's unfortunate. I think it's Becton getting injured twice, Vera Tucker getting injured twice. I want to quote this again. I forget who said it. Forgive me. I saw it on Twitter. I forgot to mark the name. Some of the offensive line injuries can be attributed to so many guys in the box that's why we're getting rolled up on, because there's 8-9 guys in the box all the time. You're trying to block all these guys, and there's more bodies in there. When you don't have the quarterback threat, man, that's what happens. Harlan, I'm getting there, man. I'm waiting for my orthotic shoes, my special fitted shoes to come in. They look awful. They look like nun shoes. They look like 1980s Catholic school, St. Cecilia's, Island, New Jersey, where I went. It's horrible, but it's supposed to help my foot. It's supposed to help disperse the weight and then make it more comfortable. So I'm waiting on those to come in, and then I can get back to. Let's see. I can get back to where I need to be. Yeah, Fashano's really smooth. Really, really smooth. I haven't seen a lot of him, but I've seen some clips of his footwork. I've seen Alt play a couple times, and I've watched Alt on most of the Notre Dame offensive snaps. The quarterbacks we have. Yeah. Good point. Yeah, I said this yesterday. I popped on yesterday for a bit with Jeremy, and I said I can't sign off on Caleb Williams for this market. I can't. If you lose a game and you're crying in your mom's arms, I love that you care that much about winning, but if you're crying that hard, the New York market, the fan base, and the media will have you on suicide watch. It's not a good fit for him. He needs to go to a place like Arizona or Chicago where they would welcome him with open arms, because they've never had a top quarterback, never had an average quarterback. Jim McMahon, and Jay Cutler, they're their best quarterbacks. It's always been defense there. Yeah, good point. Good point, Harlan. They're failing there. Yeah, use your hands to catch the ball. I know we've had some bad weather games, so that's where you try to catch with your body more and pin it, but even that hasn't worked. Ooh, here's an interesting one. We can get an extra pick if we trade Huff. I don't know. I don't know if I can get on board with trading Huff. He wants $25 million a year. We might have to consider it, but I wouldn't do it unless the contract demands are so great. I think Huff, JJ, with spelling them with McDonald, I think Huff is developing nicely, and I don't think he's done developing yet. I would really love to see him and JJ as the 1-2 with McDonald coming off the bench. Second tier linemen is like Morgan. Yeah. There's Morgan from Arizona. There's a kid from Houston. I forget the name. Forgive me. But there's a couple in round 2 that are worth it. And then 3 is where you get your interior O lineman, right? 3 is where you get, yeah, Clark got hurt too. I see 10 Star bringing up. Dark Soldier here. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining. Good to see you, my friend. I want to thank you guys too, all of you. Dark Soldier, you've been here a long time. I'm over 500 subs. That was a goal. I got to get about 680 more watch hours, and then I can be monetized. I know there's been a lot of you asking how come I'm not super chatted yet. You need 3,000 watch hours in the last year. I have the subs. I've uploaded the 3 videos, and then you need 3,000 watch hours. So I appreciate you guys watching. You're going to see me doing more lives, even if I pop on for 30, 45 minutes to get my watch hours up. And then once you hit 3,000 watch hours, then I'm eligible to apply and then get approved for the super chats and the fan base. So, yeah, you were here early, man. You were here early. Yep. I had 30. That was at 42 for a while, and then I jumped. But yeah, you were here early on, Dark Soldier. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. And I think the other 29 were like friends and family that I asked, hey, follow the show, follow the channel. I want to start doing this. You know, life hit a little hard, and it's fun to see it grow. Like I'll go to sleep and then I'll wake up in the morning and, you know, have my morning coffee and I'll check like, oh, I gained a few more overnight. It's nice to see it grow. And I think it's cool because I've been a viewer of shows. You know, I was there with Jeremy when Jeremy's first show that I hopped on with him, he did a hot sauce thing to celebrate getting 200 subs, you know, and now he's at like 4,800. So, you know, as a fan of, you know, I had on the Friday night hangout, Buffalo Jet fan was on early, like 100 subs early. And then you know how big he blew up. You know, Gunny had come on thanks to your recommendation, Dark Soldier, you know, New York Jets situation report. And you see him now weekly with Green Bean. It's really fun to see your friends grow, prosper, develop, and watch them go from not many subs to all developing and growing, man. And that's a shout out to how awesome the Jet community is. You know, I'm a fan of these shows. You guys see me in the chat on other shows, you know, as well as doing the shows. And I think it's really, really awesome to watch everybody grow. You know, they're my friends, most of them, not all of them. And it's awesome. And it just goes to show, man, that Jets fans are one of a kind. You know how grateful I am for all of you guys who've helped me out this year through some really, really tough times. And, you know, when things get better and then I'm back in work, I plan on paying it forward and helping out anybody in need. Because, you know, in February and March, when you guys were donating to the GoFundMe to help me out and put a roof over my head and put food in my mouth, I'll never forget that. You know, just a couple weeks ago, the super chats on Jeremy's show to get me and my son to the game when everyone was coming out to and helping us create those memories. I'll never forget that stuff. So I'm definitely not someone who forgets. I'm someone who will pay it forward and help out anyone in need. Yeah, man, that was February. That was in February. And things are looking up. Things are looking much better right now. I can't complain. Yeah, man, they're gonna get better for all of us. I can't wait. I thought it was happening. You know, good times don't last. Bad times don't last either. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And people in my life, you could say a lot about me. I put myself out there with my situation. You know, I share it out on social media to try to be an inspiration to other people because life does suck. Bad things do happen. And I'm living proof that you can overcome it. You make good decisions, surround yourself with good people, good things will happen. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's the lighting. It's better lighting now. The lighting makes me look better. So, all right, I'm gonna head out. I got a couple things to do. I got to take care of some things in the house. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Keep your heads up. Join us tomorrow night, 8:00, Pride and Chaos on Jets Chaos channel. Like the streams, comment, sub. You guys are really good. A lot of you watch the shorts. I just popped one up earlier before hopping on here live, but I wanted to come on. You'll see me popping up more during the week. I got to get like 700 more watch hours, so I'll be popping up with some shows Friday night. We're going to have a good hangout. I'm going to work on tomorrow, getting some guests lined up for that. So come hang out with us Friday night. Jets fans hanging out. We'll talk about everything. You guys can bring up topics outside of Jets, outside of sports. We'll do a pop culture topic. I think I'm doing favorite comedians. It's one of the ideas. I know we kind of discussed that a few weeks ago, so I'll think about it. I should have an answer tomorrow night during Pride and Chaos. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And as always, be loud, be proud, New York Jets fans. Talk to you guys soon.